it's Tia. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. In this favorites video, I am focusing on eyeshadow palettes. So let's get to the eyeshadow palettes that I've been loving. The first one that I've been loving is the Makeup Revolution and Soph X palette, her original one, because she just came out with a new one. I've been really loving and enjoying this palette. It has a little insert, really large mirror there, but that's what the shades look like. This is like such a fun palette. It's super versatile, and their shadows, the shimmers work well, the mattes work well. I was really like happy, like even the pinky shade, super pigmented. I would highly recommend this palette, so I've been loving that. Next, I brought out the Tartist Pro palette, and I know people they have like a love-hate relationship with this. The one thing that I would say with this palette is that the mattes, oh, the smell is so good. The mattes work super well. They're blendable. One of people's biggest complaints about this palette is the fact that if you use too many of these colors, they sort of muddy together, and I wouldn't disagree with that. So what I use this palette for is like sort of like a quick little, like maybe all over the lid, in the crease, and then, or I'm sorry, yeah, like all over the eye, in the crease, and then like a pop of one of these on the lid, or just an all matte 2 shadow color type situation. That's what I was using it for, and I do really like it for that. I have other palettes if I want to get more intricate, so I'm okay with the fact that I can't just be building. This is just a palette that I kind of go to when either I'm running late or, you know, I want something a little bit more simple, so I was loving that. I also pulled out both of my Jean-Michel Basquiat palettes from Urban Decay. They look, this one is in Beauty with an Edge, and it's similar, I guess, in setup to the Beach palette that they have out now. I really enjoy these shadows. I think they're well done. I love the color scheme on this, so I was loving this again. I actually really love this entire collection. Some of my favorite lipsticks are from this collection, and my favorite eyeshadow palette. The other eyeshadow palette that I was using and loving was, again, the Beauty with the Edge. I don't know if this has its own name to it. If so, I just can't read it. And this is the one that came in this packaging here. And then these were the colors, which I adore. Pretty bright, vibrant, all that. So I was loving those too. I also broke out an oldie but a goodie, which is the IT Cosmetics Naturally Pretty, and this is the Romantics. I don't see people talk about this as much, but a lot of what people are wanting in sort of that like pastel-y, this one's like, you know, has some really cool tones. I actually used this shade today in this eye look, this Tranquility, to sort of just lay down as a base. You got these purpley shades. These blend amazing. I highly suggest this palette. I would recommend this palette. So I was loving this again. I also revisited and brought out some of my Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. I pulled out the good old Modern Renaissance, and I used this when I was going out to Aurora on the Shore, which is like sort of like it's like a motorcycle type festival with a lot of music and things in my area. So I pulled this out for a few of the looks. I like knew with Anastasia Beverly Hills, it's like I know that they're going to blend well, that they're going to look great, even in through like a long, you know, outside music festival situation. And then I also pulled out my Prism palette, which I know has had mixed reviews, but I really love this palette. I love the color scheme. I think it's funky. I think it's weird. I mean, it does take a little different, I wouldn't say difficult, but different type of application, but I'm okay with that. Some of my favorite shades is this Sphere. I absolutely love this Sphere. I love Lure right here. I like Lucid, definitely for inner corner. So I really enjoy this palette, so I don't know about you. And for face palettes, I had my Beauty and the Beast face palette. I absolutely love this from Lorac, because I always say Lorac in all my videos. I think these shades are amazing. This blush in Rose and Enchanted. I usually use those together. I think they look great. They show up really nicely on my skin. They're so soft. So soft. I just love Lorac. It's one of my favorite brands in general. But you can kind of see those are the colors there on my skin. They just sort of give that like, oh, I'm just like fresh from outside and just looking amazing. So I was loving this. I've also been loving, this is like one of my holy grail palettes, which is from LA Girl. This is a blush collection, and this one is in Glow. I've used this. I haven't used this as much as the other one. There's one in Spice, but I absolutely love this one. It's got the two blushes, the contour, and then this highlight shade. I think these are amazing face powders. I think it's like $6.99 for this. I have them both, and if I had to travel, I would definitely take these. They last, they work well, they blend well, they look beautiful on the skin. I think these are high quality for even a higher price, but at $6.99. Sweet. I also pulled out my Tarte Blush Bliss palette. It was for holiday last year, but of course it's like still on the website. But I love this one. It's got your 4 blushes in here. This one called Grateful has a little bit of shimmer in it, but the rest are matte. I use this all the time. It's great for my skin tone, so I would recommend that. The last palette I have isn't a face palette, but I forgot to include it with the eyeshadows, is my W7 Major Matte palette. I got this for $3.99 at Gabriel Brothers, and it's one of my favorite palettes. It was supposed to be a knockoff of the Too Faced Naturally Matte palette. These powders are amazing. They blend amazing. They last. They're better than some of my high-end powders. High-end shadows. I highly recommend this one. Let me know right here if you've used the W7 brand and what you think of them. And so that's what I have for you. Those are my favorites in sort of eyeshadow and face palettes. Let me know what you've been loving in terms of eyeshadow palettes and face palettes. I'd love to hear that. If you're not one of my little Monets, you can go ahead and click the subscribe up here or down there or wherever if you're on a mobile device and subscribe with me. I'd love to have you. I will see you in my next video. Bye.